Greetings to all. Dear students, I welcome you all to the history session for class 8. In this session, we will continue with chapter 6 from history book Our Past 3. The name of the chapter is Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. Through this session, you will be able to understand the schooling system that existed in India before the colonial rule. You will be able to analyze William Adams' report on the progress of education in vernacular schools. Further, you will also be able to analyze the changes in education system after William Adams' report. Dear children, let us look at what we had discussed in the previous session. In the previous session, we tried and understood what implications British rule had for the lives of students. The British in India not only wanted territorial victories and control over revenues, but also felt that they had a cultural mission. They had to civilize the native, change their customs and values. We also got the insight of how Indians reacted to the British ideas and developed their own views on education. Dear students, the East India Company did not allow missionary activities in India till year 1813 because the company feared that their activities would provoke local people against company. Missionaries were unable to set up their mission in British-controlled areas. So, William Carey, a Scottish missionary, and his associates set up their mission at Serampore, near Calcutta, in an area under the control of Danish East India Company. They set up a printing press in the year 1800 and a college in 1818. Over the 19th century, missionary schools were all set up all over the India. After 1857, however, the British government in India was reluctant to directly support missionary education. There was a feeling that any strong attack on local customs, practices, beliefs, and religious ideas might enrage native opinion. Dear children, do you have any idea how children were taught in pre-British times? In the 1830s, William Adams, a Scottish missionary, toured the districts of Bengal and Bihar and were given charge by the company to give report on the progress of education in vernacular schools. Adams produced a very interesting report. According to his report, the system of education was flexible and the local schools were known as pathshalas. There were no fixed fee, no printed books, no separate school building, no benches or chairs, no blackboards, no annual examination, and no regular timetable. Fee depended on the income of parents. The rich had to pay more than the poor. Classes were usually held under a banyan tree or in the corner of a village shop, in temple, or at a guru's home. Teaching was oral, simple, and the guru decided what to teach in accordance with the needs of the students. Students were not separated out into different classes. All of them sat together in one place. The guru interacted separately with groups of children with different levels of learning. Have a look on the painting. This is a painting by a Dutch painter, Francisco Sullivan, who came to India in the late 18th century. He tried to depict the everyday life of people in his paintings. After 1854, the company decided to improve the system of vernacular education by introducing order within the system, imposing routines, establishing rules, ensuring regular inspections. Let us know something more about the new routines and new rules. British company appointed a number of government pundits, each in charge of looking after 4 to 5 schools. Teaching was now to be based on textbooks, and system of annual examination became a routine. Students were supposed to pay a regular fee and asked to attend regular classes, sit on fixed seats, and obey the new rules of discipline. Those pathshalas which accepted the new rules were supported through government grants. According to new rules, students had to attend school regularly, even during harvesting. Inability to attend school seen as indiscipline and as evidence of the lack of desire to learn. Let us discuss the agenda for national education. In 19th century, Indian thinkers felt that Western education would help in modernization of India. They urged the British to open more schools, colleges and universities and spend more money on education. There were other Indians also who reacted against Western education. Aurobindo Ghosh, in a speech delivered on January 15, 1908 in Bombay, stated that the goal of national education was to awaken the spirit of nationality among the students. The education should be imparted in a vernacular so as to reach the largest number of people. Aurobindo Ghosh emphasized that although the students should remain connected to their own roots, they should also take the fullest advantage of modern scientific discoveries and Western experiments in popular governments. Moreover, the students should also learn some useful crafts so that they could be able to find employment after leaving schools. Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore were two such individuals who gave a new idea related to the education during the British period. Mahatma Gandhi argued that colonial education created a sense of inferiority in the minds of Indians. It destroyed the pride on their own culture. It enslaved Indians. Mahatma Gandhi argued that Western education focused on reading and writing rather than oral knowledge. It valued textbooks rather than life experiences and practical knowledge. Mahatma Gandhi strongly felt that Indian languages ought to be the medium of teaching. Gandhiji wanted an education that could help Indians recover their sense of dignity and self-respect. He argued that education ought to develop a person's mind and soul. Handicrafts should be the part of education which would develop their mind and capacity to work. Next is Rabindranath Tagore, who as a child hated going to school as he described school as a prison. He wanted to set up schools where children were happy, where they could be free and creative, where the child was able to explore their own thoughts and desires. He emphasized the need to teach science and technology at Shantiniketan along with art, music and dance. According to him, creative learning be encouraged only within a natural environment, and hence set up his school 100 kilometers away from Calcutta in a rural setting. Rabindranath Tagore established Shantiniketan in the year 1901. He saw it as an abode of peace, Shanti Niketan, where living in harmony with nature, children could cultivate their natural creativity. Dear students, can you find out the difference between the educational views of Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore? Mahatma Gandhi thought that the Western education was hampering the Indian culture. He also felt that the ideas of Western education could modernize the Indian people but could not educate them. Tagore wanted to combine the good aspects of it with the Indian traditions. He recognized the importance of science and technology and wanted to promote them along with art, music and dance at Shantiniketan. Dear students, now it's time to note down some questions related to today's session. Question number 1. Why did Mahatma Gandhi want to teach children handicraft? Question number 2. Why did Mahatma Gandhi think that English education had enslaved Indians? Question number 3. What are the important features of Shantiniketan? Question number 4 is an activity to be performed by you. Find out from your grandparents about what they studied in school and how it is different from your school. Before leaving the session, let's have a quick recap of today's session. In the 1830s, William Adam, a Scottish missionary, toured the districts of Bengal and Bihar and was given charge by the company to give report on the progress of education in vernacular schools. We also studied after 1854, the company decided to improve the system of vernacular education by introducing order within the system, imposing routines, establishing rules, ensuring regular inspections. In the 19th century, Indian thinkers felt that Western education would help in modernization of India. They urged the British to open more schools, colleges and universities and spend more money on education. Thoughts of Gandhiji and Rabindranath Tagore emphasized on the development of individuals' mind and soul. That is all for today. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.